energy drink ka. Alright, how's it going, guys? Welcome to day 16 of Programming Grind. This is just straight up a day for desperation because I haven't been doing programming lately. I thought I was gonna do like a whole hour of Programming Grind, but I'm just too occupied with a lot of chores in the house, so I wasn't able to do much lately. It's not even like it's not that much of a chore like that I'm doing. It's not like a whole 8 hours of chores that I'm doing, but just because you have a flow going on and then it's gonna get disrupted because the dryer is finished, so now you have to fold the clothes and then you have to put the clothes the washed clothes in the dryer again, and then you fold the clothes and then you go back and try to programming again, and then you get interrupted again because you have to help eat help set up the kitchen and stuff. Those little distractions, it really stops me from like getting a really productive session of programming. And then like I lose focus, like I watch YouTube or something because of that, and I'm not proud of it, but I skipped the workout grind today, which is not good, especially since my sister like borrowed my um the yoga mat. I mean, I think that's pretty much just an excuse to myself to say that, oh, it's because of this, that's why I'm working out. I'm pretty sure, yes, I could work out at the floor, but I don't know, man.
Excuses.
Alam nila, apil ka sa stream.
Yes. Hey
Anyways,
guys, welcome to my stream.
yeah. So, like today, this is just my like, it's a form of desperation, I wanted to like actually program today, no matter what. So here we are, day 2 of no proper sleep. Who knows what consequences I'll get from doing this, but you know, it's either that or I don't learn anything, so you know what it is. You know how it is. We grind. Right, let's go.
Hey guys. Welcome to my vlog. There's everybody sleeping. My eyes is so heavy now.
ข้อสุดท้ายของ View Firebase Mastercard นะครับตอนนี้เราได้เดินทางมาสู่ตอนสุดท้ายของซีรีส์ยาวและนี่คือตอนที่17ของซีรีส์ยาวนี้นะครับตอนสุดท้ายนี้เราจะไม่ได้มีการโค้ดในเชิง development และแต่จะเป็นการโค้ดเพื่อ support ในการ deploy งานจริงครับโจทย์เรามีเพียงแค่อย่างเดียวเลยคือเราจะนำสิ่งที่เราทำมาทั้งหมดนะครับในตัวที่เป็น easy commerce นะครับเดี๋ยวผมรันโปรเจกต์ของเราไปยังไม่ได้โปรเจกต์มาโจทย์ของเรามีเพียงอย่างเดียว
Di ko kasabot niyo mo, ay gago ka.
My dream na kaya po.
Ha?
Wala ko sa dream na certain word.
Sorry. Grabe ah.
My eyes are so heavy na.
Yate, like 2 weeks ago.
Hey guys, welcome to my Vue.js crash course. So this is a course that's designed to get you up and running in Vue.js as quickly as possible. And it's geared towards beginners. So if you never use Vue.js before, if you dabble with it, or even if you work with it for like more than a few years or you want to learn efficient API, then you're right there. And there's going to be a few different parts for this course. The first one I will teach is show you how to get up and running very quickly using CDN, which is the fastest way to use Vue. Although you can only use that for really small projects and testing and just messing around. For larger projects, something called CreateVue, which is open and low Vue. So after we do that, we'll get into setting it up with CreateVue, and we'll go over the fundamentals of components, directed data, vectors, etc. We're going to look at a very basic task project, so we can call it an app. It's just a project to experiment with and learn different things, different directives, and so on. And then after that, we move on to our main job listing website. And since Vue is a front-end framework, we need a back-end for data, so we're going to be using something called JSON Server, which is a library that allows us to create basically a mock REST API. And we'll start with some hard-coded job data, but then we'll add some dynamic data from the API, and like our paper flex and so on. So I'll have the template files, the HTML with the tailwind classes and all that, available in the repo as well. If you took my latest React crash course, it's the same exact application, and that was intentional to compare the two frameworks. And I'll also be creating an Angular and a Svelte version of that job listing project as well. Because that's essentially the reason for these crash courses, so you can just get your feet wet and you can compare and contrast with other frameworks, and then you can decide on which one you want to specialize in. All right, so relax, get coffee or tea or whatever you drink, and let's get started learning Vue. This video is sponsored by Daily.dev, which is the platform that lets developers stay up to date with current tech. And I've used the Daily.dev bonus section for over a year now, so it opens up automatically when I open a new tab, and there's always something that catches my eye. In fact, there's been a bunch of articles that have given me inspiration and ideas for new videos. And it's also really time, it seems like every day we have something. Specifically, it's so overwhelming, so much information about different technologies, what you should be learning. It all seems to just be conflicting with each other. So what I'm going to do is give you a step-by-step approach for how I would go about learning web development. And there's not going to be a bunch of theoretical stuff. There's not going to be a million different possibilities of directions to go. Just a streamlined approach, start to finish, and you can actually start today. The first thing you need to learn is the basics of HTML, or hypertext markup language. This is the one development tools which you'll become super familiar with at the time, but for now you can use them to test your CSS and sort of toggle different properties and try different things out. And so now that you have this first project under your belt, first of all, congratulations. It's time to move on to some JavaScript. So JavaScript is how we add interactivity to our websites. It's going to be the main programming language of the web. So to start out, you need to just learn the fundamentals of the language, and this is going to be the step that probably takes the longest. I recommend you probably go through some course, whether it be here on YouTube or some paid course somewhere, but just go through the fundamentals of JavaScript and learn how to use the language pretty well. And then after that, you move on to document glitch, which is how we actually use JavaScript to change the contents of the website, so how we add that interactivity to it. Now that you learn this new skill of adding some interactivity to your website, guess what time it is? Project time. You can either take whatever website you already made and add some interactivity to it, or build a completely new one. You can try to try code to make some game in the browser, something like tic-tac-toe or Sudoku, or if you want to get adventurous, you can try something a bit more complex. And as you work on this project, you probably find that the hardest thing you've done so far, but that's actually a good thing. This is going to give you more opportunities to practice new development skills. So learn how to use JavaScript with the dev tools, as well as learn how to rename JavaScript problems and search for stack overflow. And also I recommend trying to use ChatGPT a little bit whenever you have submissions. Now don't just copy code from Stack Overflow or GPT or whatever it is. Use them as tools to actually teach you how to do things, but do try to start incorporating them into your workflow. Okay, so now you have this incredible website with so much activity, but it's time to level up your skills a little bit and revisit some of the items that we sort of brushed over earlier. So with HTML, you focus on how to make accessible HTML, and then with CSS, I would focus on responsive design. And if you're particularly interested in CSS, you can learn things like transitions and animations, read through the layout system, and how to write more complex selectors such as those using pseudo classes and pseudo elements. You can also use the time tools of CSS frameworks like Bootstrap and Tailwind, which are essentially just pre-written CSS for you, or you can go into some preprocessors like Sass or Less that add some interesting features to CSS. And to be clear, I don't think you have to do this, I just want to mention it in case you happen to be super interested in CSS. And now you should be pretty comfortable with it, and it's time to start working with the backend. So at this point, CSS. And to be clear, I don't think you have to do this, I just want to mention it in case you happen to be super interested in CSS. And now you should be pretty comfortable with it, and it's time to start working with the backend. So at this point, what I would do is first of all, just learn how to make a request to a server from the front. So with JavaScript, how to use fetch and how to write basic script. And for this, you can just use some public APIs, which are application programming interfaces, which essentially just allow you to make a request, and their server will send some information back to your browser. Now, before we can move on to actually implementing our own backend, I'd also recommend you learn how to use a terminal. And you just need to learn the basic commands. So how to do things like changing directories, maybe renaming file, moving files around, deleting files, just things like this. And now one more specific thing to learn with the terminal is how to use Git and GitHub. So Git is simply a version control system. This just keeps track of all the changes, sort of like Google Docs, just pretty much just coding. And GitHub is simply a website to upload your Git repository to. That way you can share it with other people. And now to actually start writing some backend code, I recommend you learn Node.js with Express. The reason I say this is because Node.js allows you to use JavaScript on the backend, so you don't need to learn a whole new programming language, just a few new functions for JavaScript. And with Node, you also need to learn NPM or the Node Package Manager, which just allows you to integrate open source code into your own projects. And you'll be using this a lot more in the future. So you should be able to create a backend, but even with a backend, you need to store some information that actually persists over time. And for that, you need to learn a bit about databases. So there's two primary types of databases, and I'll learn a little bit about both of them. So we have SQL databases and NoSQL databases. So SQL or SQL is a relational database. So this allows you to essentially just have a bunch of different tables and have them somehow be related to each other. And there's a bunch of flavors of SQL. Most of them are very similar to each other, but MySQL is probably the starting place, but feel free to use whichever one you prefer. And then a NoSQL database is just any other type of database. So it could be a document store, some kind of key value pair system. Lots of different things could fall under the NoSQL database umbrella. Start with MongoDB just because it happens to be the most popular. And then of course in the future, if you ever need a different type of database for something specific, you can learn it at that time. And with that, you should have the basics of backend development down, so it's time to build your first full stack project. There's lots of things you can do here, so feel free to be creative. But it needs my idea to maybe take that game you built earlier and add some global leaderboard that persists with a database. Or you can try building some productivity tool that requires a database success. And at this point, you could put these projects on your resume, so if that's something you want to be doing, try to add some unique twist to whatever your project is, so that it stands out a little bit. And now at this point, like I say, we're in the frameworks and libraries, we're in the buzzwords like React and Vue and Angular. And now is the time, I think, to actually start learning this. And a key point to notice here is that we waited a long time to learn this. So why is this? It's because frameworks and libraries are simply a simplification process. They provide some pre-written code to simplify the development process. But if you just go straight to these frameworks and libraries from the beginning, you're going to have a hard time actually learning them and grasping everything they do if you don't understand the code that they are replacing. So once we get to this point where you can actually understand and build your own applications without the frameworks and libraries, it's time to actually start learning them because they are important in the industry. I would start with React just because it's the most popular, it's the largest ecosystem, and because of all these things, it's also the most marketable skill. But of course, if you prefer to learn something else, you can do that too. Another thing with React, it's time to do another project. What I do with this one is just take the last project you did and convert the code into React. And at this point, I'd also also learn TypeScript. So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, meaning all of JavaScript is valid TypeScript, but not all of TypeScript is valid JavaScript. And all it really adds is just strict typing, so you can define the types of everything in JavaScript, which can be very helpful in larger code bases. Now, I spend a lot of time writing code, but not a lot of time thinking about how the code can actually get to the ground, how this whole internet thing is working. So I'm going to learn a little bit about computing network. This is actually going to be very important in the future. So just know the basics, essentially what happens when you type some URL in your browser. If you can answer that question, you're probably going to computer networking unless you're just interested in it and want to. And specifically, this means you need to understand things like IP addresses, HTTP and HTTPS, and the DNS system. If you know these websites, but we only know how to run them from our computer. So it's time to learn a little bit about cloud computing. Because what would happen if the power went out in my house? Well, my website would go down. That's not good. So what we want to do is learn how to use the cloud instead. Cloud computing simply allows you to run your code from somebody else's computers. The largest cloud computing providers are going to be Amazon, AWS, Google, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. I'm not starting with AWS just because it's popular, but any of them are fine choices. And now, like many things, you don't need to go super in-depth. You can learn more whenever you need something in the future. But now, just learn how to deploy your web application to the cloud. So if you're using AWS, you'll also learn how to use EC2. And now, as you're learning how to use the cloud, it can also be helpful to go a little bit deeper into infrastructure. So you can learn how to use things like Docker and containers, which essentially just allows you to make sure that whenever your code is running, no matter where it is, that it's going to run in isolation and in the exact same environment. Next thing you go about developers, you're going to understand security because you need to be able to not only protect your website, but also protect your users. So for this, you need to understand some of the important attacks that can be made against your website. So these are things like SQL injection, cross-site request forgery, or cross-site scripting. And then you need to learn about the different concepts they use to prevent these types of attacks. So things like forms and input validation on both the front end and the back end, as well as simply encryption. So making sure that you're using HTTPS and that you're encrypting user data such as passwords. And not building these incredible websites, but you need to make sure that they're actually performant and that they're ranking high in search on Google. And a good way to do this is to use Next.js and more generally to learn about server-side rendering. So this allows you to render some components from the server side and send them back sort of as raw HTML to the front. So this can not only make the pages more performant, but it also makes it easier for bots used like things like Google to actually understand the content of the page and properly index them. So web development. First of all, you can learn multiple programming languages, then you learn how to think code, and only then can you actually start creating websites. On top of that, you also need to find all of this information out there and figure out what to learn and when to learn. There's a million different people out there and a million different videos all telling you to learn different things, different orders. Don't write secure applications that operate. The goal is writing simple test actions that actually make this. These things are real-world projects, security and testing. Now, spend the time to learn all of this. I guarantee that you'll be able to land a job with your skills. In this video, I'm going to share the top 5 programming project ideas to get a job now. I'm also going to share the worst programming project idea that every single student does. Trust me, you might have even done this project already. The first programming project idea is, this isn't good enough. Need more input. Got it. I'm going to pack my bags, fly to Dubai, rip Internet Encoder out of his goddamn comfy bed, and make him give some ideas too. Wait, what was the question? Especially if you're more of a beginner, a good place to start. If it's something that you can finish in even a weekend, but it's still going to be interesting and it's even going to help you in your real life. And one thing that I talk about a lot is Python automation in scripts. Essentially, automate the life. For example, it is script to clean up your desktop automatically. I have a script running at all times, so that whenever you download a file, instead of going into a download folder, it's automatically going to be sent to the appropriate folders depending on the file type. Now, for example, use a Python script to automate your Google Calendar. Set a script to track the time that you spend programming, and it will automatically create events in your Google Calendar. But I recommend you to automate your computer and figure out a way to automate it using Python. Still not good enough. I'll call Tech with Tim. Tim, come to Donuts. So one of my favorite project ideas is to do something that integrates with hardware. I always had fun kind of working with robotic, Raspberry Pis, do something with the Internet of Things where you're actually interacting with real-world sensors. A project I built was a script that automatically preheated my coffee maker every morning 10 minutes before I was going to wake up. So right when I walked downstairs, I had instant coffee. Another cool one that I did was essentially a facial recognition script that was running on my Raspberry Pi. It allowed me to determine who was walking the hallway in my house. I could see who was coming up to my door. It would give me a notification. It's kind of a Raspberry Pi security system of sorts. So the number one worst website idea of all time is a portfolio website. Now hear me out. You should have a portfolio website, but you shouldn't build it as a side project. Now on the surface, it seems like a great idea. I need a website to show off my work. Why don't I build it? The problem with trying to make your own portfolio website is that you end up spending more than half the time just designing, and then we come up with a bad design that reflects poorly on us. It actually hurts us in the application process. Then you spend the other half of the time trying to fix annoying HTML, CSS bugs that you're not even going to need on the job most of the time. People get caught up in this and they don't even end up finishing the portfolio website. The solution is web hosting. I actually partnered with Hostinger for this video so that I can show you how to build a portfolio website. Okay, now, you see for me, that looks easier to use. And now let's set up the building. Stick around for the last two. Wow. Oh, I like this vibe a lot actually. About me. Get in touch. This is okay, and the purpose of this is to understand the front end and the back end, and specifically how these two communicate. Ideally, you also have database and interactive from kind of API. Great example of this is a customer finance app. Actually allow you to connect your bank account into the application to allow you to track your finances. You can even write things to interact with CSV files, to interact with your transactions. The stack that I recommend myself is Django for the back end because it's really fast. On the front end, I recommend React. But if a personal finance app is not interesting to you, the other example is a single e-commerce application. It's a bit more simple, but it's going to give you a lot of good practice with some of the basics like user authentication, React State, interacting with databases, and a bunch of other things. The next type of project I typically recommend to people is something to do with game development. A lot of games that I built up like Tetris, Pac-Man, even something like Tic-Tac-Toe could be a great project. However, if you want to do something that involves physics, why do something else? tool that lets you do a bunch of stuff, but ideally what we're going to be using it for today is scraping websites off of Google and a couple other search engines and contacting the website owners through a contact page. How we're going to make money from this is by taking what the website is about, targeting what they offer. For instance, a dentist, we could ask them if they still offer services for dental, and when they respond to us, we can tell them something wrong that we saw about their website. Once we offer them a free solution to that, which we can do by telling them, hey, look, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, and there's a bunch of things that we can identify. We'll show you that from the checklist I have in a little bit. We can offer to fix it, and then we can offer to fix more things on their website for around $200 to $300 easily with some of the different pricings that I have set up for you in a spreadsheet. So before we get started, I do want to mention that I'm going to be giving you guys even more stuff like this very soon. So if you hit the subscribe button, let me know, and I will leave a response to your comment. And even if you're already subscribed, just let me know that you're already subscribed. All right. So one other thing is that we have a SEO class that we are doing, a private group. It's a mastermind that you can join. It's $27 a month, and you get live classes with me on Zoom and a bunch of other SEOs. You get templates, updates to those templates, and you get a bunch of other crazy stuff. I'll make sure to leave a link to that, to the details for that in the description of this video. So in order to get started, you're going to need Scrapebox, and you can go grab that off of scrapebox.com. I wish I could tell you that I was affiliated with Scrapebox, but I'm not. Unfortunately, they don't have an affiliate program. But what you're going to do is you're going to press get started, and you're going to go grab it. It is $97 to use this program, but it is a one-time fee, and I would highly recommend getting it. Once you get it, you're going to download it, and you're basically going to put it on your computer, and you're going to open it up. Now, one thing I will mention is it does take up to 24 hours to get your Scrapebox verified, which is a little bit annoying, but they manually verify your subscription. So once you buy it, you can activate it in here. It's going to ask you to put your code that they're going to send you through email. So make sure you use the email in your whatever you're going to be paying with as the right email to send the code to, and then in the next 24 hours it will be activated. And what you're going to see is you're actually let me just take all this stuff out off so you can see. Let me clear this, clear and clear. And by the way, you'll see actually I did the Reddit test a second ago, and I've been able to contact 2 people through their contact forms with 791 contact form tests. Now, I was actually able to do this in a couple minutes, and these were legit dentist websites. I want to show you what one of them looked like. I will open up the success file, and these are the 2 websites that I was able to contact. One was this one, and Willow Bit Dental was the other one. So you can see it found this contact form, it filled out the information, and it asked them if they were still in business. So if you do this in bulk, which you can do very easily, very quickly, you can contact hundreds, if not thousands, of dentists or any business, any niche through their contact forms. The best part about this is because they don't have a captcha set up, because they didn't set up their security on this form. It's actually very easy to reach out to these people. You can't get in trouble for spamming contact forms, but you can't get in trouble for spamming email. Okay, so now that we've cleared all of this, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our proxies. Now, what a proxy is basically a way to make sure that you're sending this stuff through your through somebody else's internet connection instead of your own, because you don't want to get in trouble with having your IP address basically scraping and sending out a bunch of emails or posts from your IP. So what you're going to do is I use a platform called Proxynet. And what Proxynet is, it's just this service that gives you a proxy, and then you can upload it, and that way you're kind of routing your traffic through this proxy. And how you do this is you're just going to go ahead and go to proxymesh.com. You're going to sign up. They're going to ask you for $10 a month subscription or whatever they ask you for. I think it's $10. That's why I just paid $10 a month. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the information they give you from the proxy, and you're going to pull the all this information here. So the IP and the port. So I'm just going to grab this port to the IP. I'm going to go over here in the bottom left. I'm going to press edit. And basically the way it works is you take the IP, you put here first. Then what you do is you do a colon separated by the port number. So grab this port number. So this might seem kind of complicated, but this is really the hardest part about all of this. Once you get this set up, it's not too bad. So I'll put the port number, and then you're going to put your name of your profile and the password with another. So a colon between each one. If you forget what this looks like, I'm going to press the save button right here. It shows you right here. So it's IP, port, user, and pass. And so it'll put all that in there. If it looks like all just one line, that means you didn't do the colons in between. So then what you're going to do is you're going to press manage and make sure it works. You'll press test proxies, and if it works, it will. Yep, says it's working. Cool. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take a string that I made, which is site colon. I'll leave this in the description, by the way. And we're going to say star. So let me actually just show you what this means really quick. So if I do site colon and then I put parentheses or in quotation star, that's going to basically say, hey Google, find any site on your index with anything in it. It's a wildcard, so it could be anything. So if I click that, it's going to just give me. Well, looks like it doesn't give me. It's not going to work because I guess there's too many sites on Google. But then if I type in any website with the name dentist. Okay, now it's giving me anything with dentist. This is broad magic. It can mean that it's in the URL. It can mean that's in the title. It can mean that it's in the content. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say contact. So now I'm going to get a bunch of contact pages for dentists. So if I grab this, and I'm actually going to just do, I can actually do, if I do in title, it'll say dentist contact. So it has to be in the title for this to show up. That only gave me 2,000, but that's a good enough example for right now. You can experiment with a bunch of different ways of doing this. So we're going to plug this in here. Basically what's going to happen is this is the part of Scrapebox that this is where you specify what you want to scrape. Now if I click start harvesting, and I can select a bunch of different platforms. I'm just going to select Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and press start. And you want 1 second, you can see it says no proxies enabled. So if I click on use proxies, now it will work. And if I just press start, it only gave me 4. I might have done something wrong. Let's go back and just type in, let's just take away in title. I'm not sure really why it didn't do anything. Let's just do dentist contact and see what happens. And it looks like it's pulling a little bit more. You can see it says average URLs per second, 8 URLs. And there's things that you can do to get more of these at once, but we won't go into that right now. You can see here it's pulling most of these from Yahoo, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure why it's only pulling from Yahoo. But you can basically leave this running all night. Like if you had a really broad search term and you want to just pull like tens of thousands of URLs, you can leave this on your computer overnight and then come back and you'll have thousands of URLs that you can actually contact people off of. So I'm just gonna press stop on this. Now this might not be enough. You usually want about 1,000 URLs to kind of get some sort of success rate, but we'll see if we can get anything. I'll press export. Actually, I'll just exit to main, and now these are all the URLs that I got. And if we go through here, we can see. Let me see if I can look at this. We can see some of these are contact us, some of them aren't. So one thing I want to do is I want to go filter out the duplicate URLs, things that are duplicate domains, and then you can also make a blacklist so you don't contact the same people twice. That's actually pretty easy to do. Once you get, I'll show you how to do that in a second. And so that's pretty much all you got to do. Next, what you're gonna do is you're more the merrier. Each Facebook account needs a dedicated residential proxy so you don't raise any suspicions. And finally, you need a Phantom Buster account to set up your automation. Let me show you how. The first step is to set up your proxy with Phantom Buster. I recommend using Smart Proxy as they are affordable and reliable. Head over to smartproxy.com, sign in or sign up for a new account. Under Residential Proxies, check on the authentication method. Enter the username and the password, then click on create. Our proxy for the first Facebook account is created. Similarly, I'll create the other two proxies that we use with other Facebook accounts. Now click on the endpoint generator. Put in the username and the password we just created for our own proxy. Choose the proxy location, like I'll select USA. Under session type, select city and increase the session duration to 30 minutes. Then under the proxy list, you'll see the endpoints have been generated. Similarly, generate the endpoints for the other two proxies. Now that you've set up our proxies, let's configure them with Phantom Buster. Once you've logged into your account from the top right, click on settings icon and then select proxies. Click on add new proxy pool. Let's name this as FT proxy 1. Paste the server address followed by the port number. Head back to the endpoint generator in your smart proxy dashboard. Under the proxy list, copy the server address followed by the port number. Paste it under the address field in your Phantom Buster account. Now for the username, again head back to the endpoint generator. Under the proxy list, copy the username which is between the port number and the password. In this case, it is user-ftproxy1-session duration -30. Paste it under the username field in your Phantom Buster account. Then type in the password you created for the first proxy from the authentication method. Similarly, add the other two proxies. Now that we've configured our proxy with Phantom Buster, let's look at how to create members from Facebook groups. Over on Phantoms, from the top menu and click on all categories. Then click on Facebook and right on the top you will see Facebook Group Extractor. Click on Use this Phantom. Click on Connect to Facebook and make sure you're logged into your first Facebook account in the browser and you have the Phantom Buster Group extension installed. After it fetches your Facebook session keys, click on Save. Tell the Phantom which Facebook group you would like to scrape. You can either enter a single Facebook group URL or give the URL a Google Sheet containing a list of Facebook group URLs. The best part is you can scrape both a private or a public Facebook group and it doesn't matter if you join it or not. For this tutorial, I scraped this Facebook group called Learn Digital Marketing. So I copy and paste its link. Click on Save. Now tell the Phantom. In the third episode of Automate Everything series, I'm going to show you how you can have ChatGPT run your LinkedIn account and how you can have ChatGPT create viral tweets and put them on your personal profile or on your paid account every single day. The first thing you want to do is to go to Zapier. Zapier allows you to connect ChatGPT with over 5,000 apps, including LinkedIn. I have a full tutorial how you can connect ChatGPT with any app on the internet within seconds, so I'm going to link that video down below. The first thing you have to do is that you want to go and create a new app on Zapier.com, and then we are going to start with our trigger. So the trigger can be anything that is going to trigger and start the flow of actions. In our case, we are going to use an app that is directly built inside Zapier and it's called Schedule by Zapier. You're going to search for it, Schedule by Zapier, click on it, and then the first thing you want to do is to choose the event. If you click on it, you can see how often this should be triggered. So let's say that this flow of posting viral tweets on LinkedIn is going to be triggered every day. Let's click on every day. You're going to continue, and then you can specify more options here. So you can trigger it on weekends. I'm going to keep it yes, but you can also choose no. And then you have time of the day. But here you can pick the specific time of the day when you want the post to go live. So in our case, let's pick 10 a.m. Then you press continue, and right now you can test the trigger if it works. So I'm going to hit test trigger, and it seems like it works. We got a green check mark over here. Then we get some output over here, and we can see that it works because today is Sunday when I'm making this video. All right, so I'm going to hit continue, and the second step is to establish our action. So here is where we are going to be using ChatGPT. So we are going to search for ChatGPT and click on it. We are going to choose event, and in our case, we are going to choose conversation. The description of this is send a chat to OpenAI and generate a completion optional story message SVP. That's exactly what we want to do, so we are going to choose this one and then hit continue. All right, so right now you have to connect your ChatGPT account with Zapier. You can click on choose, and I already have it connected, so I'm just going to choose the one that is live. Again, if you are interested in how you can connect ChatGPT with Zapier, I have a whole video tutorial where I show you very quickly how you can do that through API. I'm going to hit continue right now, and we are ready to start using ChatGPT. So the first thing is that we have user message. User message is where you're actually writing your prompt. So to save time, I'm going to write it down and then get back to you when it's done. All right, so I finished writing the prompt, and there are many different ways how you can write prompts, but this is how I like structuring my prompts directly inside Zapier. So the first thing is that I set up a context, and I always put everything in brackets so ChatGPT can understand it easily. So first thing we have context. You are a business influencer posting viral and educating content on LinkedIn. I put that in brackets, and then I'm continuing with my prompt. Create a viral post similar to this one. Always create a unique scenario. Never repeat the same post or topic of the content. This part, when it never repeats itself, is very important because we don't want to post every single time very similar content on our LinkedIn profile or page. And I'm going to show you later in this tutorial how you can easily set it up so that ChatGPT writes a unique post on LinkedIn every single time. So then I write the viral post, and in brackets I put the all viral post that I found on LinkedIn that is very similar to the one that I would like to post on my profile. I went on LinkedIn and I just did some research, and I saw that Alex recently, just one day ago, posted this tweet that I really liked, and I thought that this would be a content that I would like to post on my profile as well. This is going to vary obviously, so you just have to do research and find a post that has recently gone viral, so you know that it's engaging, that you like the format of the post as well, and then that it has gotten a lot of reposts recently as well. So I basically copied this post and I put it in my prompt. And then last thing I always like to do in Zapier is to set up a variable details. So I again write it in my brackets, and I write down keep the same structure of the tweet, also keep the same or similar line. Put each sentence on a separate line. Don't write any characters before or after the post. This is important because you want to give ChatGPT as many details as possible, so then it creates the most suitable post for LinkedIn. You can layer format the tweet if you want to, like adding spaces and lines with other apps in Zapier as well, so don't worry about that. Right, so the next thing is that we want to choose our username and then assistant name. I like to keep it simple, user and assistant, but as Zapier writes down over here, feel free to experiment with details. Basically, when you change them, you give ChatGPT another layer of details, and then the results or the post. Then assistant instructions. I like to change this one. In our case, I'm writing down you are an influencer who posts educated content on YouTube. You can be more specific if you want to. For example, in this video, I would say that we are in business need because this tweet is about business and generating profit. But as you can see, I'm also writing it down in the context to give ChatGPT as much information as possible. Again, feel free to experiment with this as Zapier is writing down. Here you can choose your model. I'm going to keep it at GPT 3.5. And here is a very important step that you don't want to miss out. This is a memory key. Basically, what memory key does is that it keeps all your chats in one conversation. This is very beneficial because if you remember, we wrote down that we don't want to repeat the same post or the topic of the content. As we want to post unique content each time, we have to keep all the chats in one conversation. So ChatGPT remembers the entire group. In table terms, this unit value will allow the assistant to You just finished a tutorial and you found knowledge into a project. Problem is,
it, you have no idea what that is. A to-do app, really? In today's video, I'm going to give you 21 different project ideas as a beginner, whether you need it for school or you need it for your resume. And I'll even break down the small steps you need to take in order to complete it, as well as give it a difficulty rating. If you're new here, then my name is Lewis. I'm on a mission to inspire developers and tech enthusiasts. To-do app. Okay, let's just get the obvious out of the way here. A to-do app. A to-do app is the easiest way to test out your new programming skill because it teaches you how to store data, delete data, change the state of data, etc. And no matter what, it'll translate onto any platform, desktop, mobile, web, the command line interface. So if this interests you, then here's the breakdown. Be able to add a to-do, be able to delete a to-do, be able to mark it done. Easy. Expense tracker. If you see my self-taught software engineer roadmap, which you probably should, then I use it specifically as an example. An expense tracker is a great way to work with numbers, data types, and user interfaces. Breakdown. Define what an expense is, name, price, the day, be able to add an expense, be able to add income, be able to calculate everything, and show what's left over. Again, this is bare bones, so adjust it to how you need. Personal portfolio. Again, mentioned in the self-taught software engineer roadmap video, I use the personal blog as a massive example on your journey because of how helpful it is to your career. I usually would structure it like a homepage, a project page, and a blog page, but add as many pages as you like. It's your life. And all you need is HTML and CSS. Not even JavaScript, but I would recommend JavaScript. Create a structurable web page using HTML and CSS. Write a blog article explaining something that you learned. Create an HTML CSS page for a blog page. Insert that text and deploy through Netlify or GitHub Pages. Now the HTML and CSS method might not be the best because you probably want like a blogging platform to automate the whole process. But if you don't want to do that, you have super customizable blog platforms like WordPress or Ghost. Daily journal emailer. Imagine if you had an app that could track your mood, your feelings, how you're feeling that day, etc. A daily journal emailer could email you at the same time every day asking for you to insert how you're feeling. It can then store it in a database and maybe give you reports every week. And you can do this with any language. So let's break it down. Create a database with fields you want to track. Schedule an email with cron to email you every day at the same time. Create a form or input that allows users to track their moods. Create another cron job that calculates the last week and send a weekly report. There's also a ton of services online that help you schedule tasks as well, but yes, you're probably not going to pay for that. Flashcard app. Every student has cried when their dad has done flashcard with them. So cut out the middleman and let's build it ourselves. Premise is easy. Have a bunch of cards with questions on them. Try and say the answer. Did you give up or want to check if you're correct? You flip the card over and see the answer. Create a question and answer data type and connect them somehow. You can create a hash map, dictionary, whatever your key value bear is called. Loose through the keys and prompt the user to answer. Write logic to see the answer and write answer data type. And let's build it ourselves. Premise is easy. Have a bunch of cards with questions on them. Try and say the answer. Did you give up or want to check if you're correct? You flip the card over and see the answer. Create a question and answer data type and connect them somehow. You can create a hash map, dictionary, whatever your key value bear is called. Loose through the keys and prompt the user to answer. Write logic to see the answer and write it wrong. The reason I put this as a 1 out of 5 is because on command line is really easy to do, but if you want to take it one step further, you can make a user interface on mobile devices or a web interface. URL shortener. You know when you have this long URL, it pastes it in somewhere and it just zooms your web page far down. Well, URL shorteners are a great way to deal with this. You store the URL in the database and someone goes to that link somewhere and it just zooms your web page far down. Well, URL shorteners are a great way to deal with this. You store the URL in the database and have a unique code associated with it. When someone goes to that link, redirect them to the actual URL. And the reason I made this a 4 out of 5 in the scale that we're using is because of all the different technologies that you might need to use when creating an app like this. Here's a breakdown. Write logic to see the answer and write it wrong. Reason build it ourselves. Premise is easy. Have a bunch of cards with questions on them. Try and say the answer. Did you give up or want to check if you're correct? You flip the card over and see the answer. Create a question and answer data type and connect them somehow. You can create a hash map, dictionary, whatever your key value bear is called. Loose through the keys and prompt the user to answer. Write logic to see the answer and write it wrong. The reason I put this as a 1 out of 5 is because on command line is really easy to do, but if you want to take it one step further, you can make a user interface on mobile devices or a web interface. URL shortener. You know when you have this long URL, it pastes it in somewhere and it just zooms your web page far down. Well, URL shorteners are a great way to deal with this. You store the URL in the database and have a unique code associated with it. When someone goes to that link, redirect them to the actual URL. And the reason I made this a 4 out of 5 in the scale that we're using is because of all the different technologies that you might need to use when creating an app like this. Here's a breakdown. Create a database with necessary fields like short URL, actual URL, etc. Find a way to create a unique value for your short URL. Create a form that accepts the URL. Find a way to redirect users from your backend to the intended URL. And of course, this is really, really simplifying the concept considering there's so many little nuances with an app like this. But you would learn a lot if you ended up doing this, so I highly recommend it. Pomodoro timer. One of the most popular productivity methods is the Pomodoro timer. 25 minutes of focus time with 5 minutes of rest directly after. Rinse and repeat 2 or 3 times, and then you got a much longer break. And since everybody's productivity kind of works a bit differently, this is a great way for you to specialize in an area that works for you. Let's break it down. Create a 25-minute timer. Create a function that notifies you once the timer is finished. Be able to stop and repeat timers when necessary. I rate this a 1 out of 5 because of how much the standard library will have the exact packages you need to develop this type of app. Recipe finder. You open up your fridge and you see a ton of ingredients, but no food. The classic predicament. But here's where you come in. Create an app where you put the ingredients in, and based on the ingredients you put in, it returns what you can make. Let's break it down. Create an input where you can list all the ingredients. Have your list of ingredients scan to a database of recipes and see what's included in it. There are some APIs that you can use that will help you along with this process. And these APIs are mostly paid, but you can be a way more badass developer if you do it this way. Instead, download a recipes dataset that has over 500,000 recipes. Have the return results come back to you in a pretty way and maybe suggest some alternatives. And again, you can make this really crazy if you wanted to use AI to, figure out what was in it by a picture or something, but I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself here. That's up to you. Password manager. Do I have to tell you why putting your password on a sticky note is not the best idea? This can be a great project, but it can be a tad bit hard. Allow users to create an account and store their credentials securely. Hashed and salted passwords, or strong password. 1Password. Dude, 1Password is part of the GitHub Student Developer Pack that gives you free access to 1Password for a year and access to the developer tools. With 1Password, patience. And the hardest part about a chat application, it's a lie, but mostly in the real-time connections. I'm rating this a 5 out of 5 on the beginner project scale because you have to use everything like databases, web, user interface development, and perhaps more if you want to build that. And of course, you can use third-party APIs that will help you do this, but you want to learn here, so I would recommend doing it on your own. Create a database that holds required information for chat applications. Allow users to sign up and log in. Establish WebSocket connection to a chat server. Allow your front ends to listen for messages. Render those messages on screen. Of course, this is a dramatic oversimplification of how a chat application really works, but this app incorporates every piece of technology that you might want to learn. Calculator. A calculator app. Wow, so cool. Since computers don't really know how to do math. But I thought I would add this because you can make a really good user interface for a calculator. Create 4 basic functions for a calculator. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Create a user interface that allows you to pick numbers and equations, then render it out onto the screen. This could have been a 1 out of 5, but if you're such a good programmer, maybe you should up the ante a little bit and do something a bit harder if you're going to complain about it. Code generator. You see it all over social media. If you don't code right now, you might die. Okay, that was a quote by me specifically. Well, what if you can automatically create an image that was like those images you see online? Grab a random quote from an API online. There's a ton of open source versions, so check out those. Grab a random software from Pexels API or just download a dozen and random ideal. Use an image processing library to write text on the top of the image. Done. Discord bot. Discord is used by everyone today. If you have friends, you do have friends, right? What has made Discord one of the best places to chat is its open developer API that lets you customize your experience. So this is where you see advanced moderation tools, games, chatbots, and more. And I gave this a 2 out of 5, mostly because the documentation that exists for a Discord bot is scattered across the internet. Get a Discord API key. Find a way to receive events and messages from Discord. Have your bot use that message to do something. Then return of starting at a foundational level and then just building up along the way. Make a video game. I am making this a 5 out of 5 because making a video game is extremely hard. Now, I really can't do a breakdown of this, so you have to do that on your own depending on what game you want to make. But instead, I'll share some resources that might be helpful for you. Unity Engine has a lot of documentation and is very popular. Godot is completely open source and free, so that's awesome. Unreal Engine is really beefy, but honestly incredible. If you want to be more badass, then use a small framework that your programming language has. This is so open-ended, so really tread carefully. Web scraper. Now, web scrapers are a funny concept because the idea of them is that they are pretty simple to make, but oh man, there are a ton of edge cases. When you connect to a site, it might be rendered with JavaScript. It might not load anything at all. It might not load everything at first. And that's why I put this at a 4 out of 5 because of these little edge cases that you're constantly have to go over. And if you're interested, I built a web scraper that makes a video out of the news if you like, which, definitely give that a check out. Decide if you want to use a web crawler framework or make a simple spread. This just depends on what you want to do. Go to the website and pick out the selectors you need to capture this data. Run this crawler through a proxy, return this, and format in JSON or CSV. Web scrapers are very trial and error, so if you end up making it fail the first time, don't be discouraged. Just keep going. Random number website. A 1 out of 5 that's late into the video. Well, I'm catering to everybody, okay? Create a website that gives you different utilities for generating random numbers. Let me put a number between 1 and 100. Typing speed test. One of my favorite classes ever was typing class, which, because that still exists. ChatGPT. So recreate a neural network from scratch and then scale this newfound technology to billions of users all at once. Okay, just in this example, the OpenAI API is one of the most popular APIs at the moment. They'll use this to create a clone of ChatGPT in wherever you can write code in, like your code editor, your Mac desktop, CLI, and more. And actually, as of this video, the fine-tuning model API has just been released by OpenAI, so you can really get it to say what you want to say. Determine where you want this ChatGPT widget. Create an input that can send to a server. Let ChatGPT read your input and send requests back. Send this to the user. Virtual Tamagotchi. If you had a Tamagotchi when you were younger, then you know what Tamagotchi. But for those of you that are like under 12, let me explain what they are. Tamagotchis were these little virtual pets you can take care of. But let's break it down. Your virtual character that can live somewhere. Have it render on a screen. Give the ability to change outfits, be able to feed it food. Allow this to change certain metrics of its pet. This is something that you can just get started with and then just endlessly customize until, well, it dies. Visualize a dataset. Visualizing a massive dataset is actually a pretty good flex. If you go on Kaggle, you'll see a ton of free datasets are massive that you can download. Then using a data science library like Pandas, if you're using Python, try and find some interesting metrics through visualization. Pick a dataset. Think about what you would want to achieve with this dataset. For example, if I had a list of YouTubers, maybe I wanted to chart the subscribers. Use a data science library to clean up the data as much as possible. Then graph the results and share online. This also depends on what data. Visualizing a massive dataset is actually a pretty good flex. If you go on Kaggle, you'll see a ton of free datasets are massive that you can download. Then using a data science library like Pandas, if you're using Python, try and find some interesting metrics through visualization. Pick a dataset. Think about what you would want to achieve with this dataset. For example, if I had a list of YouTubers, maybe I wanted to chart the subscribers. Use a data science library to clean up the data as much as possible. Then graph the results. Visualize a dataset. Visualizing a massive dataset, if you're using Python, use case so people going to yard sales and seeing something in a massive file. So I heavily recommend you give this a try. Yard sale flipper. I'm always seeing these videos of people going to yard sales and seeing something and then checking on eBay if they can make a profit off of it. Be able to use a camera on your phone. Have a barcode scanner API that can retrieve info. Use the eBay API to search for that specific item, return the price, and then calculate its profit or not profit. And this project actually has a real world use case, so it'd be really great to share this to existing users. To get a better understanding of these projects, definitely check out my self-taught software engineer roadmap where we talk about project-based learning. Also check out the GitHub Student Developer Pack where 1Password is giving a year subscription for free as well as their developer tools. Pretty simple. The internet is packed with useful data, but unfortunately that data is often buried deep within a mountain of complex HTML. The term data mining is the perfect metaphor because you literally have to dig through a bunch of useless dirty markup to extract the precious raw data you're looking for. One of the most common ways to make money on the internet is with e-commerce and dropshipping, but it's highly competitive and you need to know what to sell and when to sell it. Don't worry, I'm not about to scam you with my own dropshipping masterclass. Instead, I'm going to teach you about web scraping with a headless browser called Puppeteer, allowing you to extract data from virtually any public facing website to access precious data, even for websites like Amazon that don't offer an API. What we'll do is find trending products on websites like Amazon and eBay, build up a dataset, then bring in AI tools like GPT-4 to analyze the data, write reviews, write advertisements, and automate virtually any other task you might need. In addition, I'll teach you some tricks with ChatGPT to write your web scraping code way faster, which is historically very annoying code, right? But first, there's a big problem. Big e-commerce sites like Amazon don't love big traffic like bots and will block your IP address or make you solve captchas if they suspect you're not human. But that's kind of racist to non-biological life. Luckily, Bright Data, the sponsor of today's video, provides a special tool called the Scraping Browser. It runs on a proxy network and provides a variety of built-in features like captcha solving, fingerprints,
Messenger, Slack, WhatsApp, Gmail, and everything in between. Shift combines all of your favorite apps in one place. We've made it easy to respond to messages, check notifications, and stay on top of everything. To get the most out of Shift, we recommend adding all of the apps you manage day to day. Just head over to our apps directory. Click to add. Sign in. And repeat to connect all of your favorites. Adding email accounts is simple. When you first sign into Shift, you'll be asked to enter your main email address. Next, select an account color and verify. Follow it up by adding all of your other email accounts. Shift supports Gmail, G Suite, Outlook, and Office 365. Voila! All of your messaging apps together at last.
It's always on the anxiously attached person to repair or reconcile. They have to be the first to apologize, or else nothing gets resolved. They have to consider the avoidance need for distance or independence, or else they get left. And they have to give and bend over backwards. But the avoidant doesn't have to do any of that stuff. Well, to be fair, it's not like they're meeting in the middle. The anxiously attached person always has to do more work. The entire relationship hangs on whether the anxious person puts someone else's needs above their own once again. Isn't that unfair? It's massively unfair. Thank you. But you said the anxious partner always has to do more work. That's not technically true. How is that not true? Because they don't have to do anything. Well, they do if they don't want to get dumped. And what advice would you give to someone who feels like the entire relationship rests on their back? Someone who feels chronically neglected, someone who continues to overgive, even to a partner they described as a taker. I would tell them that's not love. And
You deserve more than the bare minimum. Yeah, me too. I'm not saying in order for their relationship to work, the avoidant doesn't need to show up and do the work, but the anxious partner needs to learn that when you refuse to set boundaries with people, when you have a habit of rescuing or enabling or tolerating any destructive behavior, maybe overgiving due to some low self-worth, you will naturally attract takers in your life. And this isn't about blaming them or ourselves. It just means it's up to us to find other givers to give to. Listen, I came here to complain, not self-reflect, okay?
CLI, Command Line Interface, a way of interacting with a computer using only written commands. If you're someone who doesn't use the terminal regularly, you might think, why should I care about CLIs? They're nerdy and stupid, and pressing buttons is way more efficient than writing prompts. Look at my desktop, it has folders and text movement, and it looks like I know what I'm doing, but in reality, I can't even solve a link medium question, but I don't care. I need the fun parts. See, I've been falling a bit into the Linux rabbit hole lately, and that means that I've spent way more time writing my desktop than I should. But with all that time spent on it, I've realized something. CLI scripts are gonna do, and that's basically what motivated me to make this video. Hopefully, by the end of this video, I would have shown you some very interesting and fun things that you can do with just a terminal in some spare time. And if you think like I did a month ago, where I thought, who would spend so much time coding a CLI library? Hopefully, the beauty of some of these CLI scripts will change your mind. Since the beginning of times, programmers have always felt the need to do stupid programs with little to no actual application. Now, pinpointing exactly the first silly program that was ever created can be quite fiddle, but one thing we know for sure is that one of the oldest quote-unquote funny programs ever created was Fortune in 1979. The goal of Fortune is pretty simple, to be a shitty Fortune. Fortune uses a set of databases that contain pre-written messages, and then it randomly selects one to be printed in the terminal. And that's it, that's the whole program. It's the same, don't ask too much from. There are a couple of other options that you can choose from, but there's not much that you can do to actually change the functionality of it. Interestingly enough, if you input the flag -o, the program will only print offensive messages. But apparently in newer releases, this database is not included by default, because the messages were very offensive. And of course, because it is so fucking old, it was made easy. Moving on to the year 1991, Piglet was created. Its purpose, generating ASCII banners. If you were ever online in the early stages of the internet, you might remember these banners that people used in forums, emails, or in legitimately obtained video games that you definitely paid for. Well, most likely, some of them were done using Figlet or other similar programs. Figlet does come with some useful flags such as -f, which allows you to select the different fonts, such as mini, script, banner, and other ones, and -c, which centers to text. In the year 1999, programmers had only one question in mind. What does the cow say? But that didn't matter because the shit just wanted to be fun. Cowsay is a program that generates ASCII drawings of cows saying any message you give. Now, this program does not only allow you to display your silly little text as if it was said by a cow. No, that wouldn't be enough. It also allows you to use a cyborg cow, a dead cow, a dragon, a llama, a sheep being fucked, and fucking stegosaurus back. It was said by a cow. No, that wouldn't be enough. It also allows you to use a cyborg cow, a dead cow, a dragon, a llama, a sheep being fucked. Now, fucking stegosaurus would have. That's gonna be the best thing ever. Look at it, still thanks. Here's my newest. And of course, they also included tugs and cows beta. Very fun. A very common thing that people used to do back in the day was to pipe Fortune with Cowsay. If you don't know, piping means using the output of a program as the input for another one. This means that now your cow can display random quotes every single time you call it. I added this to my terminal, and now every time I launch a new one, my stegosaurus just show me a different message, which is kind of cool. But also, what's bro saying? I don't get it. Nowadays, Cowsay includes a variety of animals, some cuter than others, but its purpose has pretty much stayed the same since its creation. Have you ever been working on your computer and you see a weird term like SHA-256, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is SHA-256? Well, we can use WTF for that. You can just type WTF is SHA-256, and it will tell you some information about it. Now, this is pretty rudimentary, it's mostly a joke, but if you don't want to Google it, it's pretty fun. How many times has this happened? You're doing your normal Unix development stuff, you know, changing directories, clearing the screen, listing the files, clearing the screen, listing the files again because you forgot what you saw 2 seconds ago. And you also clean the screen because you're fucking dumb. Now, instead of typing ls, you type s. Apparently, this is pretty dumb, but it has never happened. Anyway, the point of this program is that any type you mistype ls, you get a giant train rendering terminal using ASCII characters. And you cannot stop it. It only stops once it goes all the way through. A very funny thing about this program is that in the man page, it mentions sometimes listing directories contents as a bug. And that's hilarious. Now that we've covered some of the other ones, we can get into what is commonly known as Bryce territory. For those of you who don't know, Brycing in this context means customizing your Unix system. Now, there are many ways of doing this, and I'm not going to cover those in this video. So the only thing that you need to know is that showing different terminal scripts is a common practice when showcasing your Bryce. If you've ever encountered Unix porn, you know what I'm talking about. And no, I'm not talking about that Unix porn, I'm talking about this Unix porn. I know it's easy to get confused. One of the most widely used scripts in Brycing is NeoFetch. The purpose of NeoFetch is to display your system's information and brag about how good your specs are. The beauty of NeoFetch is that you can customize the look of it however you want. I definitely did not spend 4 hours just trying to make it look like this. By changing the config file, you can change the color palette, the system's information, the ASCII art, you can even put an anime row if you want. I know you want to do that, don't like it. The possibilities are endless. And that's why NeoFetch has been one of the most loved scripts in the Brycing community. Sadly, a few weeks ago, the author of NeoFetch, Dylan Raps, announced that it has been discontinued. So RIP NeoFetch. There are other alternatives still being developed, so you can check those if you want. It's the Matrix, but in your terminal. I don't care that I have to waste valuable space in my 14-inch screen to use this. It looks old, things are moving down, letters are appearing. I'm gonna go insane, but it doesn't matter because it has 100 skill points to any programming language of my choice. You can just run this program in its stable state, and it would look good. But if you want, you have some options to configure, such as adding bold letters, changing the delay, or changing the colors. All of it is simply amazing. Having the matrix showing in your terminal might not actually help you with your programming skills, but you know what can for sure help you with it? The sponsor of today's video, really. Having the matrix terminal might not actually help you with your programming skills. Can for sure help you with it? The sponsor of today's video, really. One of the things I struggled the most when learning programming was to think like a programmer. Coding is not just about writing prompts on the screen and hoping it works. I mean, it's mostly that, but also it requires logic, problem solving, and lots of creativity. And Brilliant is very good at achieving that. By relying on visual and interactive problems, Brilliant helps you understand and internalize a wide variety of concepts in the fields of math, physics, computer science, and more. Brilliant's method breaks down complex topics into small and understandable chunks, so you can spend a few minutes learning every day. If you're unsure about the specific area that you want to learn, an interesting starting point is the How Technology Works course. This course covers a wide variety of topics such as how computer memory, GPS, and passwords work. Recently, I've been invested in learning about being programming, so if you think like me, this course might be perfect for you. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/molds or check the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. With that being said, thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Remember those old Windows screensavers? Well, pretty much that. It just looks cool. This serves as a reminder that the best things in life don't have to be complicated at all. Just choose your best configuration using one of the many flags that they included, and let yourself enjoy the hypnotic beauty of vibes. I mean, if you're gonna spend hours staring at your screen without doing anything productive anyway, you might as well just watch funny vibes moving around. If If you're watching this video, there's a high chance that your wallpaper is an anime. Don't like it. So at some point, you must have thought, man, I wish my weep setup was even more weep. Well, think no more. Put a little growing bonsai on your screen. C bonsai is a small program written in C, of course, that generates a cute ASCII bonsai in your camera. You can either generate an already existing bonsai or see it growing in real time. This one looks fairly simple, but I bet the algorithm took many hours to be polished this way. Overall, a 10 out of 10 must-have program. Kava. Kava stands for Cross-Platform Audio Visualizer Family. And it uses your computer's audio to generate this cool-looking spectrum visualizer. On top of a basic C program, Kava also uses shaders to generate the spectrum visualizer. So technically, it does not count as your CLI tool. It's pretty fun. And it runs inside sounds good. This goes to show the power of a bit of imagination and some frames. You honestly opened my mind quite a bit when I realized that CLI tools were this powerful. Like I would have never thought about running a fucking shader inside a terminal. That's amazing. In short, I think CLI scripts are a very fun way of using your creativity for something fun. You know, sometimes you just don't want to mess around with UIs or fucking fronts and shit. You just want to write down a few lines of code and have something fun with. And if you're feeling fancy or anything, you can add some shaders or other interesting technologies into the mix. These programs are often overlooked because of their simplicity, but the density of the things you can build is just amazing. So maybe you can apply it to be your next GitHub project or your next non-project at all because you're never gonna accomplish anything with a piece of shit. Sorry, I got it too personal. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you want to support what I do, you can always leave a comment, like, subscribe, and all those things YouTubers ask people to do for them. The channel has grown a lot in the recent months, and I'm hoping we reach 50K soon. I have some fun projects that I'm working on for the next months, so keep in touch if you want to find out more. Also, don't forget to check my other videos. So anyways, thanks for watching.
The newest version of Python has just been released. Here are some of the best features. The F string in Python is really powerful, but it's even better now. You can now use double quotes within your F string, even if your F string has double quotes. It also includes comments and multi-line expressions, nesting, and more. Python 3.12 introduces a new syntax for type hinting. This makes it easier to specify and understand data types and functions and classes. So if you're using a static type checker, then this is a welcome addition. Some updated error messages when a name error, import error, or syntax error pop up that tries to point you in the right direction. Kind of similar to Rust. This is really handy when some little bugs just kind of go under the radar.
Try to make a sad Joji beat. You guys always ask how I make chords. Basically, you just want to move the notes until it sounds right together. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can take these notes and just drag it down like this. You know? It works. Let's add some human imperfection. We need some sad lead that goes down, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we got a synth to make a build up, some super trap hi-hat god type shit. Let's try to make a sad Joji beat.
Everyone is talking about the most lightweight Linux distro, but what about the heaviest one? At first glance, this question seems to be kinda pointless. I mean, Linux can become as heavy as you want it to be. But there are two specific types of Linux distros that may fit the description. I'm talking about beginners-friendly distros like Mint and PopOS, and secure.
Australian rules football league, bro. It's like 4 hosts, and if you Dang, we're making some obnoxious Brazilian phone. In Sao Paulo, they got like the loudest, crazy.
Saddam Hussein was such a brutal dictator, but many were scared to criticize him.
Roberto, what's the story in Iraq?
It's nice.
But what about Saddam?
Yeah, it's a good guy.
But he's a killer, isn't he?
Got a killer moustache.
Okay, we're going to try our other correspondent, Fred. Saddam has a cute little butt. What the fuck's going on?
But when he became a dad, some felt it was less intimidating.
United States, no, I have ice in my face. This is the problem with living in a city.
How many floors you guys doing? 9? Where's my view's gonna be gone?
This is the problem with living in a city.
How many floors you guys doing? 9? Where's my view's gonna be gone?
This is the problem with living in a city.
How many floors you guys?
You don't have to like art to understand how incredible this girl's paintings are. Her name is Tanya, and she's recently been going viral for creating hyper-realistic artworks where the hands look like they're breaking out of the artwork. She achieves this by sculpting hands from clay, attaching
I personally hate this coding question, but Fang seems to love it, so let's do it anyway. The problem is called majority element, and it claims to be an easy problem. We're given an array of integers, and there will always be one majority element that appears in over half of the array's positions. We simply need to return what that element is. We can just make a counter. We saw 4 2s and we saw 3 1s, so we'd return the max element, which is 2. This solution also uses O of n space. Can you do it in constant space? The trick is to always keep track of the count of the current candidate, which is the first element. And when we see the candidate, which we do over here, we're going to make the count go up by 1. When we see elements that aren't the candidate, our count will go down. Over here, it's going to go down to 0. And so when we get to here, since the count is 0, we actually switch the candidate to be 1. And immediately we don't see it here. So the count goes back to 0, and it's going to turn back into 2. And here's my Python code. Isn't it elegant? Drop a like if you think it's cool. I personally hate this coding question, but
Jo, jag har med boxa. Pass open sa jeden. Evo ga.
gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. How would they know? How would they know? How would they know? I can't. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. How would they know? How would they know? It took me 1 hour.
And knocked out.
And then I went to sleep. By 1968, the Beatles were slowly pulling away in different directions. Every band member started working on their own solo projects, and the tension in the recording studio kept growing as creative difference appeared inside the group. Although John was the first to leave the band officially, it was George who couldn't wait for the day where he finally left the band. By 1965, George's songwriting was already top tier. However, it was really hard for him to prove it since he only had a few songs per album. As the Get Back sessions were taking place, George offered a bunch of songs that were getting pushed back or ignored in favor of the tracks written by the Lennon-McCartney duo. The fact that shortly before he had spent time with Bob Dylan and the band,
No way I hit that. Fortnite, what are you doing? No, what are you doing? I'm gonna die.
Every time I look at you, knowing is all. If you do what I want you to do, maybe we'll be so high. Life could be a dream, life could be a dream, life could be a dream.
No way I hit that.
Let's go. I'm one of these people, bro.
It's very disrespectful. Nagasaki. And well,
Today we're gonna make the hardest, loudest.
No.
go over this again. Great. And what are we going to do when we get that connection? Sabotage. No. Avoid vulnerability like the plague. Also, no. Run away at the first sign of closure. Really? Take constructive feedback as an attack. Shut down during conflict, leaving my partner feeling unheard and alone. Nope. Dismiss and invalidate their feelings as irrational. Please don't do that. No. And suppress my feelings so far down that I don't even know if they exist anymore. That is not healthy. Be fiercely independent. You can't trust anyone but yourself. I hurt you. Refuse to take accountability or apologize for anything because that would mean I'm a failure. That is untrue. Reject them before they can reject me. We're gonna get you some help, okay? I think if I'm honest, deep down I'm just scared of losing myself. What's that? I mean, if I truly let myself love someone and fully take my armor off, I can't protect myself from being hurt. That was so beautiful and so vulnerable, and I really think we can. So I'm gonna ghost them and then just unknowingly repeat this process with someone else. No, we were so close. What do we do? Connection and closeness with another person. Great. And what are we gonna do when we get that connection? Sabotage. No. Avoid vulnerability like the plague. Also, no. Run away at the first sign of closeness. Take constructive feedback as an attack. Shut down during conflict, leaving my partner feeling unheard. Nope. Dismiss and invalidate their feelings as irrational. Please don't do that. No. And suppress.
Oh, that's such a great.
Let's go over this again. What do we want? Connection, closeness with another person. Great. And what are we going to do when we get that connection? Sabotage. No. Avoid vulnerability like the plague. So no. Run away at the first sign of closeness. Constructive feedback as an attack. Shut down during like leaving my partner feeling unheard and alone. Nope. Dismiss. Validate their feelings as irrational. Please don't do that. No. My feelings so far down that I don't even know if they exist anymore. That is not healthy. You can't say about yourself. Who hurt you? Refuse to take accountability or apologize for anything because that would mean I'm a failure. That is untrue. Reject them before they can reject me. We're gonna get you some help, okay? I think if I'm honest, deep down I'm just scared of losing myself. But let myself look. And fully take my armor off. And protect myself from being hurt. That was so beautiful, so vulnerable, and I really think we can just the ghost them. Just unknowingly this process with someone. No, we were so close. Alright, what do we want? Closeness and connection. And what are we gonna do? Criticize them into changing. No, get real jealous. What is happening? Yeah, I'm gonna snoop on their phone the moment they leave it alone. No, we should not do that. Call them a self. I don't have. Alright, what do we want? Closeness and connection. And what are we gonna do? Criticize them into changing. No, get real jealous. What is happening? Yeah, I'm gonna snoop on their phone the moment they leave it alone. No, we should not do that. Call them a self-centered narcissist because that will lead to them self-reflecting and feeling better. Are we talking about the same thing? Be clingy and have a constant need for reassurance that would drive even a healthy person away. I feel like you're missing the objective here. We're looking for things that lead to closeness, have no boundaries, and bend over backwards for people who take action. Catastrophe. Realer perspective.
perfect pitch, but I don't care. Because you're not going to dance to the key, right? You don't dance because it's in the key. You dance to the groove. So I'm going to do my best to play the wrong note, but I'm going to make it groove. I start here. So no matter what note I play, right? That's wrong. That's right. It took me one note to know where I was, but you don't care. Listen, listen, listen. Listen. These are all the notes. You tell me which one is wrong. All the notes are right. But it's the context that makes it right, not the pitch. We teach you pitch. We should be teaching you context. You can put any note into that groove context and it'll work. I don't have perfect pitch, but I don't care. Because you're not going to dance to the key, right? You don't dance because it's in the key. You dance to the groove. So I'm going to do my best to play the wrong note, but I'm going to make it groove. I start here. So no matter what note I play, right? That's wrong. That's right. It took me one note to know where I was, but you don't care. Listen, listen, listen. Listen. These are all the notes. You tell me which one is wrong. All the notes are right. But it's the context that makes it right, not the pitch. We teach you pitch. We should be teaching you context. You can put any note into that groove context and it'll work. I don't have perfect pitch, but I don't care. Because you're not going to dance to the key, right? You don't dance because it's in the key. You dance to the groove. So I'm going to do my best to play the wrong note, but I'm going to make it groove. I start here. So no matter what note I play, right? That's wrong. That's right. It took me one note to know where I was, but you don't care. Listen, listen, listen.
Hi, I'm a full-time voice actor, and these are 10 popular tones I'm asked to use when I'm providing the voiceover for a project. When doing text-to-speech, you have to maintain a consistent and clear tone so the program can read anything, which gets really weird in the recording sessions when you're saying words taken from shocking news headlines. This read is called detached casual conversational, and it's supposed to actually sound like a real person talking while they're just mindlessly scrolling.
This is called a bright read. You'll usually hear this when big department stores want you to know they have denim for the entire family.
This is a warm read, and you'll hear this when someone is trying to make you feel emotional about animals, coming home for the holidays, or anything else that's meant to make you get just a little misty-eyed. And this one, I call this the John Krasinski conversational read, and it's when you're just supposed to sound like a guy. Some people might call it a chatty read, and you might hear some little vocal flavorings here and there. This also, of course, works in a more traditional feminine read, when it's supposed to sound like you're just talking to a friend. Hi, I'm a full-time voice actor, and these are 10 popular tones I'm asked to use when I'm providing the voiceover for a project.
When doing text-to-speech, you have to maintain a consistent and clear tone so the program can read anything, which gets really weird in the recording sessions when you're saying words taken from shocking news headlines.
This read is called detached casual conversational, and it's supposed to actually sound like a real person talking while they're just mindlessly scrolling.
This is called a bright read. You'll usually hear this when big department stores want you to know they have denim for the entire family.
This is a warm read, and you'll hear this when someone is trying to make you feel emotional about animals, coming home for the holidays, or anything else that's meant to make you get just a little misty-eyed.
And this one, I call this the John Krasinski conversational read, and it's when you're just supposed to sound like a guy.
Some people might call it a chatty read, and you might hear some little vocal flavorings here and there.
This also, of course, works in a more traditional feminine read, when it's supposed to sound like you're just talking to a friend.
Hi, I'm a full-time voice actor, and these are 10 popular tones I'm asked to use when I'm providing the voiceover for a project.
When doing text-to-speech, you have to maintain a consistent and clear tone so the program can read anything, which gets really weird in the recording sessions when you're saying words taken from shocking news headlines.
This read is called detached casual conversational, and it's supposed to actually sound like a real person talking while they're just mindlessly scrolling.
This is called a bright read. You'll usually hear this when big department stores want you to know they have denim for the entire family.
This is a warm read, and you'll hear this when someone is trying to make you feel emotional.
Scream as loud as you can. Go.
Oh no. I never, never in my life.
Oh, it's. Let's find out. Loud as you can. Ready?
Ah.
Good job. Let's try more.
Ah.
Even more. Deep breaths. Relax into it. So here's the thing. Are you in danger right now?
Yeah.
How? How are you in danger? Anyone want to attack her? No one. You're safe. So literally,
I don't think about myself. I'm weak.
everyone right now thinks she's weak. Go. You're alive. Nothing happened. Now, will this get to the cause? No, but it's always a great question to start with. Whenever you feel anxiety,
Yeah.
ask yourself, what's the realistic danger or threat? Because your mind or emotions again will spiral out and it will make up all these things. So what it means is the anxiety that you're feeling does not come from out here. It's what this triggers inside of you. Scream as loud as you can. Go.
Oh no. I never in my life. Never.
Oh, it's. Let's find out. Loud as you can. Ready?
Ah.
Good job. Let's try more.
Ah.
Even more. Deep breaths. Relax into it. So here's the thing. Are you in danger right now?
Yeah.
How? How are you in danger?
Anyone
want to attack her? No one. You're safe. So literally,
I don't think about myself. I'm weak.
everyone right now.
Do you think newbies should do deadlifts?
Yeah,
Really?
with good technique. Most people are so weak, they're not strong enough to hurt themselves. How many times in your medical practice have you dealt with untrained people getting full muscular evolution?
We're back with another reaction. Patinho nanoplina. Ela bate.
All right, this rope is 100 feet long, so I should be able to tell exactly how high this is. I'm guessing I got it totally wrong before when I said it was 200 feet high. That reaches the bottom.
So I guess we're more like 75 feet up. So I bought all this cheap yellow rope to build scaffolding webs that I will eventually take down once the final web is in place. This is also how I started making webs in my teens. And just like that, this whole section of the tree is accessible now.
All right, this rope is 100 feet long.
Why do women today expect so much more from men than women did generations ago? Feels like we're gonna need the clipboard for this one. Where are you hiding clipboards? Okay, hit me with some unreasonable expectations. Okay. Well, you know as well as I do, they're expecting so much more emotional garbage from us now. Okay. Women want the bare minimum levels of intimacy and connection. They're always complaining about the mutual chores and the domestic labor. Listen, I don't care if the dishes get done. Okay. Equality and shared responsibility. Anything else? Men were just more free back in the day. If they wanted to go to the bar, they went to the bar. Didn't have to be a big deal. Okay. Women don't want to be neglected or overlooked anymore. So needy. We can't even like and follow half-naked pictures of models online without getting an earful about it. Women want a partner with integrity that they can actually trust. And don't even get me started if, God forbid, we have a fight together. She wants us to take turns speaking, trying to understand, validate, and empathize with each other's experience. I'm sorry, what? Oh my gosh, women want mutual respect. What has this world come to? She wants me to hug her instead of just groping her. I'm sorry, beggars can't be choosers. I believe they call that one affection. Why do women today expect so much more from men than women did generations ago? Feels like we're gonna need the clipboard for this one. Where are you hiding clipboards? Okay, hit me with some unreasonable expectations. Okay. Well, you know as well as I do, they're expecting so much more emotional garbage.
What you're looking at here are two neurons under the microscope that I've filmed. And if you wait really patiently, you'll be able to see them connecting to one another. What you're looking at here are two neurons under the microscope that I've filmed. And if you wait really patiently, you'll be able to see them connecting to one another. What you're looking at here are two neurons under the You're gonna hurt yourself.
I was gonna get up and find the.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Where is everybody?
Gotta open the breath, Katie.
Hey, look behind you. Behind you. Behind you.
trap.
Oh dear.
Please be careful.
I'd kill you. If you stay in that snare, you'll die.
You did so well. It's the fox. He's trapped. Please be careful.
Leo, why don't you want to use a broken pencil? Because there's no point. Leo, why don't you want to use a broken pencil? Because there's no point.
This fox attempted an incredible stunt, and you'll see it's so funny that this video has gone viral around the world. Watch carefully. You can see it approaching in the snow and looking in the ground, trying to attempt something. The funniest thing is that by looking at its paws, you can see it seems to be warming up to jump as high as possible. And indeed, that is what it's going to try. After several seconds of warm-up, hop, it attempted to dive for no reason in the stove. What do you think went through in its head? This fox attempted an incredible stunt, and you'll see it's so funny that this video has gone viral around the world. Watch carefully. You can see it approaching in the snow and looking in the ground, trying to attempt something. And the funniest thing is that by looking at its paws, you can see it seems to be warming up to jump as high as possible. And indeed, that is what it's going to try. After
Why you don't want foxes as a pet? They pee on everything. So you might notice we have a mounted bowl right there for their water, and we have a bowl mount right here because whenever they have a new water source, they pee in it. That's a decoy water, and it's just their pee bowl. And we mounted these in hopes that they would stop peeing and pooping in it. But they mark everything. This whole enclosure, it smells like pee. They also smell like skunk. Foxes have a really
I am a grind god. I'm a weekend grind god, apparently. I can't commit to shit, man.
For beginners, so never used Vue.js before, just download it, or even if you work with it but you want some refreshers or you want to learn about the composition API, then you're in the right place. And there's going to be a few different parts to this course. So first we're going to go through some slides and talk about what Vue is and how it works, and that shouldn't take very long, probably under 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to show you how to get up and running very quickly using CDN, which is the fastest way to use Vue, although you should only use that for really small projects and testing and just messing around. For larger projects, we use something called Create Vue, which is ultimately what we'll be using. So after we do that, we'll get into getting set up with Create Vue, and we'll go over the fundamentals of components, directed, data, methods, etc. We're going to look at a very basic task project. I wouldn't even call it an app. It's just a project to experiment with and learn different things, different directives, and so on. And then after that, we'll move on to our main job listing website. And since Vue is a front-end framework, we need a back-end for data. So we're going to be using something called JSON Server, which is a library that allows us to create basically a mock REST API. And we'll start with some hard-coded job data, but then we'll add some dynamic data from the API. So I'll have the template files, the HTML template classes, and all that available in the info as well. So this React dashboard, it's the same exact application, and that was intentional so that you can compare the two frameworks. And I'll also be creating an Angular and a Svelte version of that during the same project as well. Because that's the decision you can for these crash courses, just get your feet wet, and you can compare and contrast with other frameworks, and then you can decide on which one you want to specialize in. All right, so relax, get a coffee or tea or whatever you drink, and let's get started learning Vue. Video is sponsored by Daily.dev, which is a platform that lets developers stay up to date with current tech. And I've used the Daily.dev framework.
Let's go.
In fact, there's been a bunch of articles that have given me inspiration and ideas for new videos. And it can often feel like you're falling behind because it seems like every day there's new trends and new technologies that come out. And Daily.dev compiles information from all over the web, and you can even set up your own custom feeds with specific tags of the type of content that you want to follow. And you can manage categories, content types, and block certain tags. You can also create squads. I've recently created a public privacy media squad, so feel free to join and stay up to date with my latest content. Visit Daily.dev today and download the extension. So as with any of my crash courses, we're going to start off by defining the Vue ASP. So it's a progressive JavaScript framework used for building user interfaces and single-page applications or SPAs. Although you do have meta frameworks now, such as Nux and Gridsome, where you can build server-side rendered apps as well as static websites. But we're sticking to SPAs in this project, or in this course. So it's designed to be simple, flexible, and incrementally adoptable, meaning you can start using it for small parts of your application and then gradually scale up. And Vue makes it easy for developers to integrate it into projects of all sizes, whether you're just adding some interactivity to an existing web page or building a complex web application from scratch. And with its reactive data binding and component-based architecture, VBS helps developers create dynamic and interactive experiences for users in a very straightforward and efficient way. So it was created back in 2013 by a developer, an independent developer named Evan Yu, who is currently based in Singapore. That's right. The reason that I like to mention that is because I think that the fact that he wasn't created by a Google or a Facebook or any other tech giant like most of the frameworks were, and the fact that it still has a bunch of merit, I think that speaks volumes about the framework, about its quality, and about its tools. Now, as far as prerequisites, I like to ask people, when am I ready to learn a framework? And the answer is a couple of because every
Some people use ESLint to format their code. Don't. You're better off using Freedom, which is created just for formatting. ESLint can apply some stylistic rules, but its main purpose is to fix coding issues as seen on their home page. But you can use both extensions, and it's recommended so much so that even the previous doc explained here how to integrate with links like ESLint. Some people use ESLint to format their code. Don't. You're better off using Freedom, which is created just for formatting. ESLint can apply some stylistic rules, but its purpose is to fix coding issues as seen on their home page. But
Good, well, let me do the change. That's crazy. Okay, bro.
I don't think that's an optimal way to do it. I think you should first learn the building blocks, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And when I say JavaScript, I don't mean just learn what a variable and a function is. I mean learn it to the point where you can build at least some kind of fairly simple front-end projects without any framework. So I usually recommend the following: JavaScript fundamentals, so loops, functions, objects, arrays, things like that. Events and DOM manipulation, the fetch API, and just basic HTTP to learn how to make a request to public APIs, get data back, send a post request, etc.
Okay, fine, you're gonna set me back up again.
setup, I guess we can start working on our project. And the first project we'll build will be the color. And essentially the idea is following: we're going to have a button, and as I'm clicking the button, notice we'll change the background color of our body, and also display what color we are using. And we'll have two setups. We'll have a simple one, where we'll just use a specific amount of colors, so it's going to be fixed array with fixed amount of items. And then we'll have the second setup, the hex color setup, where we'll generate hex colors on the fly. And in this case, we have infinite amount of options. And of course, when I say infinite, what I'm talking about here is we're just generating the hex color on the fly. So as you can see, this is now a set amount of item. Every time we click on a button, we'll generate a unique hex color. And in order to get started, we'll have to build our index.html first, and we'll start with our simple one. So effectively what I'm doing right now in the index.html, we're building out the simple setup. And then once we're done with the simple setup, then of course we'll work on our hex. So in the index.html, first I would want to create a navbar, because I'll use for both of the pages. So we'll navigate between the projects, and that's why you need our navbar. So I'm going to go here with a nav, and you know what? Nav will not have any kind of class, or the div within the nav will have this nav center. And this div effectively is just a parent for my title, as well as my keywords. That's the only reason for that. So within the div, we'll have the heading forward with a text of color flipper, and again, you can name it however you'd like. And then I'll have a on our list with a class of nav links selector. Once set up our nav links, we'll have a list item. Each list item will point to a page. Of course, in our case, we don't have that many pages. We'll have index.html, and then the value will be simple, or you can call it home, whatever you want. And then I'll copy and paste it. So let me open this up. I don't know why I collapsed it. And then the second list item will be my hex. So I'll change this one around, hex, and then also the value will be hex. And again, I'm just pointing to the hex HTML that I already have in my project. So I have the hex HTML, and we'll work on that one, of course, a little bit later. And then as far as our setup right off the nav, so right where we have the nav closing tag, we'll just set up a main element, and then within the main element, there's going to be a div with a class of container, and then we'll have two things. We'll have our title, so this is where we'll display what color we're using, and then we'll have a button. And I'll start with the button, even though it's going to be there last. And for the button, we'll add two classes, BTN class and BTN hero class, and then we'll also have a ID, because I want to target that button, of course. So basically, I'll need this ID for my JavaScript. And then as far as the value, I'll right click me, and then like I said, above the button, I'll have my heading 2 with a text of background color, and then a colon, and then we'll set up a span. And for the span, I'll have some kind of class. And again, in this case, I'll use that class also for my JavaScript. So I'll need it for my CSS and also for my JavaScript. And then within the span, I'm just going to set up the current background color, which is gray. And of course, since I was setting up the project, I know that the value for my gray color is F1, F5, and then F8. Let's save it. We have our basic setup. Now we can start working on our JavaScript. Perfect. Once we have set up our index.html, next we'll bravely navigate to App.js and set up our logic. And then at the moment, we can see that in the App.js, we have the colors array with 4 values. And effectively, they just represent what kind of colors we'll have. Whether it's green, which is a simple color value, then we'll have another one, the red one, and then RGBA, just so we can see for sure that we'll work with any color values, whether it's a actually name color or RGBA, and we'll also have the X. And I guess I'll start by targeting things, the button, so I'll name this BTN, and then the second one will be my button. Now for my button, I'll use document, then get element by ID, and then since for my button I have the ID of BTN, and of course I'll add it here as a value. And the second one will be my color span. So I'll have the const, and then color is equal to document, or in this case, I'll use the query selector, and then the class for my color, well, I'll use this. Okay, good. Now let's set up the event listener for the event. So I have BTN, event listener, and then I'll be listening for my callback. And of course in here, I'll pass a my callback function, which in my case is just going to be an function. And then within the function body, this is where I would want to set up my logic. So each and every I'm going to click on a button, I'll change the background color for my button. And that is actually going to be our first step. However, we're going to target the body. Well, since we know that the body is the property on the document object, in order to show you that, I'm just going to console log it, document body, and then if we check out our dev tools, we'll see that in the console, we have our body. Awesome. So now I know how I can target my body. Well, I want to use the style property, more specifically, background color property, and change that value. And of course, I'll start doing that just by manually accessing my items from the array. So in this case, I'm going to go const, then a random number, and I'm just going to set it equal to number 2. Now, I would want the comment where our goal is to get a number. So let's right here, get random number between 0 and then 3. Why are we having 3? Well, because we know that arrays are 0 index base, correct? So this is going to be our first item, and that will have the index of 0. So if I will be selected, I will do something along the lines of colors, and then I'll be selecting the 0. That's how I can get my first item. If I want the second one, I would have here 1, 2, and then 3. That's why our goal is to get a random number between 0 and 3. Okay, it's good to know our goals, but for the time being, we'll just have it as a hard-coded value of 2. And then, like I said, we'll use our document object, then we'll look for the body, then style property, not style, and then more specifically the background color as this value in the properties. And of course, you can see that Visual Studio Code is giving me a nice suggestion. And for the time being, we'll set it up to a colors. Of course, that is my array, and I'll use my random number. So I'll use my hard-coded value. And then also, I'll want to my color, and when selecting the color, I want to change the value here as well. So I want to display which is actually the background color for my body. And property for that is text content. And again, we'll do the same thing, colors, and then we'll have a random.
save it, and then of course the moment I'll click on my button, you'll see that I'll access my third item. So of course I'm using the index number 2. And then of course I can refresh, and I'll do the same thing. So all this is nice and dandy, but how we can actually make this more interesting, where we'll get a random number from our array. Well, I guess we could start by setting up some kind of function that will generate that number between 0 and 3. And I'll call this function get random number. So I'm just going to go here with a function keyword, then get random number. Now I'll not accept any parameters, but I will return from my function a math random method. I will invoke it, and of course within my callback I'll want to display it somewhere. So I'm just going to go here with get random number. That is of course my function. I'm just invoking my get random function, and then since I want to show you what kind of value we'll be getting, I'll go with a log right underneath my random number, and I'll just check what is the value I'm getting. So random, that's what I want to console. And of course the moment I'll click, you'll notice that the moment I'm not getting it, because I'm getting this weird 0.57 and whatever, all these values after data. And what is happening with a math random, we are getting numbers, unique numbers from 0 all the way to 1. But it's never going to be 1. So it's always going to be between 0 and then 0.99999 and something. And okay, but as you can see, it doesn't really do much good, since of course there is no item with this type of index. So again, we're looking for numbers between 0 and 1. And one thing that we could do is make it interesting and multiply with the length of our colors. So what is that going to do? Well, that's going to give me numbers between 0 point something and then 3 point something. Because keep in mind, our length is 4, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4 items at the moment. Of course, if you add more items, you'll have bigger length. But at the moment, our length is 4. So we're just multiplying the random number that we're getting by 4. And then since I said that we'll be getting these random numbers between 0 and 1, we'll have a result between 0 and then 3 point something. But it's never going to be 4 because our value is never going to be 1. And I'll test it out by just saying that I want to multiply that by colors. And then again, in our case, is 4. And honestly, if we click 2 times, that we're essentially generating these numbers. Notice, like I said, it's going to be from 0 point something all the way up to 3 point something. Of course, in our case, it doesn't get there. Keep on clicking, and yes, there it is, 3.06. Now, how we can fix this right now? Well, the solution would be using another method that is on MathObject, and that is a floor. So what floor is doing, it is going to round down to a closest integer. But again, it's going to round always down. So even though technically, as far as math, if we have 1.59, they should round up to 2. With a math floor, we'll always round to a nearest integer, which in our case is going to be 1. For example, if we'll have 0.9, it will round down to a 0. And what will happen, we'll get our numbers between 0 and 3. And it will and I'll test it out by just saying that I want to multiply. And then since I said that we'll be getting these random numbers between 0 and 1, we'll have a result between 0 and then 3 point something. But it's never going to be 4 because our value is never going to be 1. And I'll test it out by just saying that I want to multiply that by colors, and then which again in our case is 4. And honestly, if we click 2 times, that we're essentially generating these numbers. Notice, like I said, it's going to be from 0 point something all the way up to 3 point something. Of course, in our case, it doesn't get there. Keep on clicking, and yes, there it is, 3.06. Now, how we can fix this right now? Well, the solution would be using another method that is on MathObject, and that is a floor one. So what floor is doing, it is going to round down to a closest integer. Again, it's going to round always down. So even though technically, as far as math, if we have 1.59, they should round up to 2. With a math floor, we'll always round to the nearest integer, which in our case is going to be 1. For example, if we'll have 0.9, it will round down to a 0. And what will happen, we'll get our numbers between 0 and 3. And the way we'll set that up, we'll have our math floor, and then we'll pass the value that we're getting when we multiply math random with our color set. So I'll place it in the parentheses, I will save it, and you'll notice the moment I click, the value is 2. Of course, now I'm accessing my third item, and then if I'm going to click one more time, then of course we're going to be getting the value 1, which represents the color of red. I can click one more time, in this case, of course, I'm accessing the item with a next to 0, which is my green, and as you can see, our functionality works. And eventually we'll get to all our values, and of course we're done with the first part of our project. Now let me test it out on a small screen. Let's see how it's going to look like. Notice, again, we are selecting all the items, and everything works exactly like we expected. Some more, once we're done with our simple setup, now why don't we spice things up and actually work on Xplot, where effectively what we'll do is each and every time we'll click on a button, we will generate a random Xplot. Now, of course, at the moment, as you can see, nothing is happening, but if I'll check out the complete project, the X color one, you'll notice that as I'm clicking, I'm generating a unique color using the X color. And just a warning, some of the functionality will be exactly the same. I'll still select a button, I'll still select a span, I'll still generate a random number, but the difference is going to be how we will set up the code. In this case, you'll not use the text values, they're going to be generated on the fly. Now, if more speed things up, if you'll check out the text HTML, you'll notice that I already created a setup for it. Again, this just saves us time of repeating the same HTML. Now you'll notice also that the color is the same, the VPN ID is the same. The only difference is that we will use the XJS. So in the index HTML, we will be using the XJS. So that's where we set up our basic set. But then in this case, in the HTML, we're pointing to XJS, where we'll set up our functionality to pick a Xplot. And again, the reason why I set up the HTML already for you, so you don't have to